Outside the entrance to the cave is going to be a skeleton guard in the way who's going to make sure that you have the gold statue and tell you that Borgarda is actually inside the cave. This is the first of what's going to end up being many caves that we're going to explore through the course of the game. For the most part though, the caves are relatively easy to navigate. There's only a few ways that you can end up going to get to it. The problem is, some of them do have a few different paths that may lead you to the boss battle, or may lead you to other items, so it's best to explore all the pathways to make sure that you find all the items before exiting the cave. Our first stop in the cave is walking over to this entranceway in the cave, which takes us to another part, which is going to lead us to the ring inside of a treasure chest. Picking up the ring will give you an upgrade to your strength, which is pretty much like picking up a new sword by picking up the ring. Once we have the ring, it's now actually time to go to the boss. Along the way, we'll actually get another sword, so we've already increased our strength by picking up the ring. We're also going to get another weapon to our arsenal before we head to the boss itself. Inside this chest is another sword. This one is the battle sword. We're going to make sure that we equip the battle sword before we continue on through the cave to get to the boss. Once we enter this cave entrance, we're now in the lair of the boss. Head up one screen for the boss battle to begin. He gets upset that we won't give him the gold statue, so it's time to battle him. Once the battle begins, watch out for the axe that he throws out. Then get in close and start swiping him with the big swipes with your sword. This will allow you to hit him multiple times every time you throw out the sword, and you should only be able to get 1 or 2 more hits on you before he's taken out. Once he's been defeated, he reverts back to his human form and also teaches us a new spell, the spell of Flowing Fire. Unfortunately, we don't have a spell to instantly leave the cave yet, so we're going to have to backtrack all the way through in order to get back to the entrance and get out of here. For the most part, unless an enemy is going to get directly in your path, just ignore him as we're heading back through the cave. Once we finally make it back to the cave entrance, we're heading back outside, and now it's time to head back to the previous village. Along the path back to the village, I'm going to take out these skulls for a little bit of extra experience. Once we're back in the village, it's time to walk our way all the way through it, which will take a couple of seconds as we go through all the screens to get to the lower left area to a new area of the game. Along this new path, we're going to start running into some of these skeleton enemies. Now, these enemies take a ton of hits to take out, so for the most part throughout the entire run, I'm just going to be walking right through them or trying to avoid them as I get to the next screen. Here we have a slightly advanced version of the skulls, as these ones are a little bit different shade of blue than the previous ones, but they go down just as easily. Along this bridge, watch out for the hornets that are going to try to sting you, and you only have a little bit of area to walk on, so you have to be very careful to avoid them or taking them out. This new area of the game, as you can see, is a yellow tint, and there's going to be some living trees for the first time in the game. These trees will come to life as you're walking through the screen, and then they're going to start firing fireballs at you. You're not going to be able to take them out, so just try to do your best to avoid the fireballs, and then get past to the next screen. When we arrive in the next town, we're going to start off by stopping into this house, which will refill our health and all, and then we'll also be told that we're trying to find a pet. I'm not positive of whether or not you actually have to rescue Poe to actually complete the game. However, getting Poe is actually one of the best things you can do in the game, as it will allow you to travel back to other places easily. Just be very careful making your way through, because you're never quite sure which of the trees are going to come to life and which ones are just going to stay plain trees. The trees will try to fire a fireball directly at where you're standing currently, so if you do a quick back step or try to do a quick side step, you may be able to avoid the fireball sometimes. Up here we reach a mountain pass, and on this mountain is going to be the next cave to explore. In this new blue shaded cave, our goal is to collect a couple of items as well as save Poe. The first item that we're going to be heading towards is the Flame Sword, which will greatly increase our attack against certain enemies and is a pretty good sword overall. After we get the sword, we're going to be heading towards the Dragon Scale, which we'll have to use later on in the game. Then we're also going to be saving Poe, and then we meet up with a big dragon, who will give us the Thief's Bracelet. These zombie enemies can get very annoying, as they will teleport by disappearing and then reappearing a few seconds later. They also have a really annoying ability that they can freeze the screen that you won't be able to leave the screen, and they change you into an animal. Over here in this chest is the Flame Sword, so you want to make sure that you equip this, as this will greatly increase our attack right now.